advantage of a person having bitachon versus the guy who doesn't have bitachon is priorities in life. The seventh difference is ki botech be'elokim lo ye'eval bihimana bakasha. A person who trusts in Hashem will not mourn, he will not grieve when something that he wants is withheld from him. Velo behipaked ahuv, right? And he won't, nor when he loses something that's valuable to him. Right? A person who has a cherished possession or an end of a friendship, he has bitachon, he'll be strong, he'll be able to endure it. But a person who has no bitachon, he loses his mind. He goes, oh, why this happened to me? Or let's say a person who lost a loved one. Mourning is extremely hard for him. He cannot put himself together. Why did God take him? And then you have people saying things like, oh, don't be too good. They take the good ones early. The good die young. Don't be too good. You have to be a little bit, And Hashem takes the best flowers first. All these kind of things. First of all, you have to know, if you finish your tikkun in this world, so you've finished it. That's good. You went to Olam Hamed. That's the end goal. We don't want to stay here forever. We want to fulfill our purpose here and move on to the Olam Hamed. So they don't have that bitachon. And on top of that, whenever they go through business loss, through friendship loss, whatever it is, they get angry at themselves, they blame themselves, blame other people, and they don't know how to deal with themselves. But the guy who has bitachon is not worried. The guy who has bitachon, he doesn't worry about anything more than today's provisions. Today, you ask him, what about next week? What are you going to be in 5 years? What are you going to be in 10 years? Listen, God who gave me yesterday, He'll give me today. That's all I know. That's it. Yom Baruch Hashem, Yom Yom. That's it. He won't be concerned himself with what will be tomorrow. I don't know. Maybe I'll pass away before tomorrow comes. It's like the famous story with the lady who had the widow that had all her kids with her. They were very poor. So she found an egg. She told her kids, we're going to go and we're going to sit on this egg. We're going to incubate it. It's going to become and hatch a chick. It's going to be a hen. And she's going to lay more eggs. Then we're going to have more hens. And then we're going to have so many hens. We can't keep up with hens. We're going to sell them. We're going to make goats. We're going to have goats. Then we're going to get milk. And then we're going to buy cows. And then we're going to have so many cows. And then we're going to buy a house. And we're going to have business. And she dropped the egg. And the egg broke. And there was no whole story. So many people do this, and then in 5 years, and this, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to make this money, I'm going to make this move, and I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go there. Habibi, get up from your chair, go on time to Shachrit, and let's start there. Before you're all this kind of stuff, then you tell you're going to go and be this person, do this. Yes, you can have goals, but the question is, does it make you have anxiety? Do you busy with yourself getting nervous about it? Is it a priority? So much so that it's more of a priority over what you're doing with yourself today. Some people are very busy with what's going to be, and they just yap, and then tachlis comes, push comes to shove. What do you have to do right now? And then it ends up nothing. Nike did it right, just do it. Okay, since he does not know when his end will come, and he will die. Rather, he relies on Hashem to prolong his days, for however long he decrees, and along to that, to supply his provisions and sustenance during those days. So you ask a guy, I understand, what about tomorrow? How are you going to do it? Take one day at a time. What about tomorrow? God who gives me today, God who gave me yesterday, He'll give me tomorrow also. When we get to tomorrow, I'll get to tomorrow. So a guy could think, wow, what a fool. He doesn't prepare in advance. You got to prepare in advance. You got to be smart. You got to save. You got to this, you got to that. But he doesn't know that the guy who plans, then sometimes his plans don't work. God made it that it doesn't go according to plan. And the guy who had no plan, he just came and everything was worked out for him. And Hashem made it that just in coincidence, it happened to be, It's like my friend told me, he lived in Israel. He still lives there. He was in Kolo at that time. So then he's like, Rabbi, he was telling me, it's very, very tough times I was going through over there, I was in Kolel and I was supporting my family and I didn't have enough money and I just moved there. I was married, maybe like 6-7 months. I didn't know how to pay everything off. Holidays were coming. It was very, very tight. So I said, so what you do? He said, I bitachon in Hashem, and I was walking one day in the street and I bumped into a relative of mine, like my second cousin or whatever. One of my first cousins. He didn't come to my wedding though. He said, oh, how are you, Moshe? I didn't see you in a long time. I'm so sorry. I missed your wedding. I feel so bad. I'm your first cousin. I didn't come to your wedding. It's a pazor. It's embarrassment. He said, no, it's okay. Holidays are coming. Don't worry about it. It's all good. I'm so happy to see you. I never thought I would see you here. He said, you know what? Stay here. What happened? He said, stay here. He goes and he waits for a few minutes. He comes back. He gives him an envelope. He says, take this. He says, what is this? He says, my gift. I didn't come to your wedding. I want to give you a gift. I'm sorry. I apologize. No, it's okay. No, I want you to have it. He goes home. He opens it. He gives him like $1,000. Give him $1,000 gift because he felt so bad that he didn't come to his wedding. And he says, that's exactly what I needed right before the holiday. So you see how Hashem makes so many miracles for these people at Bitachon. Hashem makes these coincidences happen. Obviously, we don't rely on miracles, but at the end of the day, we rely on Hashem, and Hashem has many ways to send us what we need. So therefore what? A person who plans, will he be able to ever to plan such a thing? No, you'll never be able to plan. And it could be the plan, and I have a job, my job will pay me, and then what happens? The job didn't pay him. And then this guy who had no plan, or he just had relying on Hashem, and he did Ishtadlut, and Hashem makes this kind of coincidence happen for him. So then the guy who has the plan is like, wow, look what his bitachon gave him. Look how Hashem provides for him in mysterious ways. And he thinks, but you have to plan. Hashem has many ways. Yes, you could do Ishtadlut, but don't think only your plan is what's going to work. So therefore, this guy has bitachon, he doesn't think too much about it. He has they call him Rosh Shaket. He has a simple mind, simple head, and he's happy. The guy who has to have everything worked out, he's anxiety all his life. 46 over here. He knows that he cannot live forever, and therefore he remains only by God's grace. Thus, his view towards the future is based on the conviction that Hashem will grant him more life in accordance with his will. He has bitachon, that's why he'll live. The very bitachon frees him from preparing provisions for the future because he trusts Hashem will grant him life. He will also grant him whatever he needs to sustain life. So we said last time that the people who say you have to save your 401k for your retirement, all this, all that, that's American mentality. But really, we said they were going to learn that the Arizal and the Rashash, they used to go to sleep every night without any money in their pockets. Whatever money they had left over, they would give to the tzedakah. They would say, I want Hashem's bracha, like the man every day, new man, new bracha. So the person has to know that according to the level of Emunah you have, you don't have to be busy so much with tomorrow. Tomorrow's tomorrow. It's a different day, different bracha. So therefore, a person who has a bill he has to pay, you're right, he should save. But a person shouldn't just save because, rainy day. Give tzedakah, whatever, when rainy day comes, Hashem will give you also then. People who withhold themselves from tzedakah because they say, why should I give tzedakah? I need to save for myself for a rainy day. It has to do with Emunah. One day at a time, the Tosha Rebbe, the footnote over here, Meshulam Feish Lowy, was known far and wide for his generous and caring heart. Although he bore the financial burden of his community and yeshiva, he mortgaged their buildings to raise money for the needy. He never could count on saving money for a future need when there was a mitzvah to which it could be applied immediately. He didn't like saving money when he knew there's people who need money right now for a mitzvah need. In one incident, the Rebbe was informed that a significant sum was needed by the following Wednesday to avoid foreclosure. On Sunday, a Jew came with him with an interesting story about a debt to members of an organized crime. They needed to repay by the next day. The mafia's on me. I need to pay them. The Rebbe handed him a huge amount of money. Communal leaders who were working around the clock to collect this money, they said, Rebbe, what did you do? This money we were supposed to pay for the mortgage for this building. Now you gave it to this guy for his mafia problems. Let him get taken by the mafia. It's his problem. Why are you giving him our money? So the Rebbe said, I don't understand. He needs the money on Monday, and we need the money on Wednesday. Why? We have time. You gave him $250,000. What do you mean Monday to Wednesday? I'm going to raise that money in 2 days. He said, in 2 days, Hashem can't do anything. So look at this Emunah here. So this approach of not worrying about Parnassah even a day in advance is a very high level of bitachon, the pinnacle of reliance on Hashem. Yes, it's surely everybody has to make a shtadlut. Not everyone is able to live on this level, but you should know there is such a level, and you should try to get there.
What happened 2 days?
So the end of the story ended over here, but I don't know. I'm sure that he got the money. He has such a emunah. The Gemara Sechah Beitzah says that Shammai would honor Shabbat all week. How? When he found a high quality animal, he would buy it for Shabbat, and later when he came across a better animal later in the week, he would buy that one for Shabbat and eat the first one during the week. Thus, his weekday meals were always eaten for the sake of Shabbat. Hillel, however, said, no. Baruch Hashem yom yom ya'amos lanu. Tehillim 68. He says, no, even if I find a good animal today, I'm going to eat the animal today, and when a Friday comes, Hashem will also send me another animal. Baruch Hashem Yom Yom. I take one day at a time. I don't save in advance. So many halachic authorities assert that Shammai's approach is for most people, but Hillel's approach is really the right way, and that's for the elevated people who have real bitachon. He says that everyone should go according to the level of bitachon they have, and whenever you find food of superior quality that's not always available, you should set it aside for Shabbat use, right? Let's say you find a good cake on Tuesday. Oh, it's a good cake. I think we should use this for Shabbat. Oh, you know what? I'll eat it today, and I'll come Friday. They'll probably have the same cake again. They'll probably have it for Shabbat. So the Hillel will tell you, yeah, you're right. Do that. That's the right thing to do. Hashem will provide you. Have bitachon. But Shammai says, no. Who said? Until I find another cake, I'm not gonna eat this one. I'm gonna save this one for Shabbat. Therefore, you see, there is such a level, and we should try to get there. Baruch Na'olam.